Hi there, we're back on 67 Hail Hail for the new week. I say new week, it is Thursday. We've left it a little bit later this week, but that's all good, guys, because it means we can chat about a Celtic win and 4 goals. And Jackie, we've not had a chance to do that too often this season. Obviously, the season's long gone. The league title won't be won, sadly, but you know it was more positive signs certainly on Tuesday night against Kelly.
Yeah, it was. I think the performance was better, although I don't think it could get any worse than the weekend. And obviously the goals as well. They give a bit of confidence. But no, I thought as a team they played better. They looked a lot more solid and a bit more fluent as well.
Yeah, Jackie, since we last spoke to you, I think we've won twice, drawn once, and lost once. What was kind of your feeling heading into the Kilmarnock game and the kind of the overall direction of travel of Celtic on the pitch at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's just a strange feeling just now, isn't it? I think, like from the weekend, obviously the carry on coming back from Dubai, the draws and the fallout from that, and the performances as well. It's been pretty difficult to watch and it's disappointing, that we've not given up more of a challenge for the league this year. I think that's been the most disappointing thing. We've not, made Rangers really work to win it. Or not push them as much as we can. I think from the word go, we've been chasing, and it's just got. I get a feeling just now, even if we were level with them just now, I still wouldn't fancy us, and that's the disappointing thing. You can take the games in hand and everything else, but as it stands today, if we were both level in points, I still wouldn't fancy us at this moment to go and win it, just with what we've seen so far.
I mean, you referenced the St Mirren match of the weekend there. Were you surprised that Lennon didn't go after that? Or you've said on the channel before you think he's here to the end of the season. Fans are in uproar. I don't know if you've seen it on social media, Jackie, but just about every single club post is flooded with Neil Lennon out comments and images. He's clinging on by the skin of his teeth here, but the club continue to back him. Are you surprised by
that? Yes and no. I think the biggest thing is, like, if someone's got to come in, they're not going to come in just now when the league's not been decided yet, although it's more or less has. The league's more or less gone, but officially it's not. I think who would want to come in at this point and take over, and get blamed for it, if you like, in some people's eyes. So I think that's still got to be resolved. I don't think anything will happen until that's been resolved. Despite the setback of games and the weekend, normally that would be the case if it was earlier on in the season. I think there would have been changes if it was still retrievable, the league. I think the league's too far gone now. It's obviously Peter's come out and said he's leaving, and there's going to be massive changes coming forward, I'd imagine, and it has to be a lot of change. So I don't think there'll be managerial changes or changes in the football department until the league's officially gone.
Hamish, breaking news before we just came on and recorded.
Yes, Albian Ajeti, I believe, has been handed a 2-match ban, or what's the phrase they usually use? He's been offered a 2-match ban for simulation during the Kilmarnock game, the incident that we won the penalty for. To me, quite harsh. I thought there was a little bit of contact, and you could argue he was playing for it, but for me it was a penalty. In the grand scheme of things, Jackie, it doesn't really matter because we've barely seen Ajeti this season anyway, and the league season's effectively over. But for me, a bit of a strange one. How did you view it?
Yeah, I thought when I first watched it live, I thought it was a penalty. He just got there in front of the goalie and there was a little bit of contact. Obviously, when you see it slowing down, he's clearly played for it. And it's I'd be disappointed if it was a penalty against us, put it that way. But there was minimal contact.
It's one of those ones where it might not be a penalty, but it's not necessarily a dive either. At least that's the way I see it. Sometimes I think people are too quick to say a player's cheating, but surely if Ajeti just plants his foot there, he's risking injury almost because the keeper's coming in. He's kind of riding it almost. People will say he's playing for it. I'd like to give the Celtic player the benefit of the doubt. Scott Brown got off with it though. Hamish, what do you think of that one?
I watched the game, but I think I've seen maybe one clip of it. Does he catch the guy Tish Bowler in the face or something? think for the one viewing I've had, I didn't think there was much in it really. I know across the city they've been kind of losing their rag a little bit. I know the Rangers official Twitter lost their rag, and what was it they tweeted? Consistency or something like that. Get a grip's what I say. There was nothing wrong with it.
Jackie?
Yeah, I didn't see much in it. You know, I think he got penalised for the one against Livingston. Again, so you know,
and that was deserved. I think. I mean, I think he deserved that red card. I'm not going to say.
More importantly, it happened in the game itself. It wasn't after the game. You know, that it's been dealt with in the game, which you know, that's where they should be. If you're playing in the game and the guy finishes the game or scores a goal and wins the match, that should have been sent off. That's different, you know. And Scott got dealt with in that match.
There's a lot of on-the-pitch stuff getting missed at the moment, I would suggest, not particularly in Celtic games, but perhaps we'll leave that for another time, Hamish, otherwise we'll get bombarded by comments. Jackie, just your thoughts on the transfer window. I know we've not spoken to you since then, but obviously Frimpong's away, Cham's away, none of this was kind of expected or in the offing when we spoke to you last. What were your thoughts on those exits? I
wasn't too surprised with Cham. You know, albeit it's a loan with a view to a permanent move. Frimpong was a bit of a surprise, just kind of came out of the blue a little bit. But you know, for the club side, it's good business. And then go in and got Jonjoe Kenny and loan to the end of the season. So again, that's another area that they're going to have to strengthen in the summer. You know, they've got Bill Hamid still at the club. What's going to happen with him? You know, we still have a lot of players there that aren't featuring or are not anywhere near it. So I think you know, there's a lot of change going to be happening in the next number of months towards the summer. Mostly be going out, I'd imagine.
Yeah, as a fellow fullback or a former fullback yourself, what did you think of Kenny's debut for the club? Yeah,
I thought he was solid. I thought he got into some good areas. You know, the width was coming from both fullbacks in the game. You know, it was quite a narrow performance of the rest of the team. But you know, Greg and Jonjoe were getting into some good areas. You know, in the bylines, and that's what you want to see, especially when the teams are camped in. How we can get around them. I thought he was steady enough, comfortable enough in the ball. So yeah, it was good for him to settle in with a victory as well.
Are you pleased with Greg Taylor's progress? He seems to have made that position his own now. Lennon fancies him kind of as the number one pick on the left side now.
To be honest, I thought that he should have been there most of the season. You know, when he came in, they get left out for the Rangers game. I know he's not every Celtic fan's cup of tea. A lot of the ticks there come from Kilmarnock, but I think you look at his stats and look at his numbers. You know, he's got more assists than Laxalt. He's got more defensively. I think he's better as well. You know, he knows where to be. Laxalt sometimes looks to me like, you know, he's energetic about and stuff. But I don't see the final third quality, and I don't see the defensive quality in him. You know, I think Greg's a better all-round player. I think Greg suffered from the lack of width in front of him or creativity, you know, somebody to link with. You can see when he gets in, his best work is getting in behind without the ball, clearly. You know, he's not a lad that will come up 1v1 and get past people and take them on. He does his running without the ball, and he's had a lot of number of assists. You know, we go back to the start of the season, even last season, you know, the ball's played into the area and he always tries to pick out a man rather than just putting it in the area, which, you know, I think he's done well, but you know, hopefully he can stay in and keep getting better.
I mean, I think he's got more discipline certainly than Laxalt. Hamish, would you agree with that?
I just think Greg Taylor's a player who's crying out to be coached properly and to be developed. I think he's a kind of player under Brendan Rodgers that would have been, you know, turned into a really, really good player, and hopefully the next manager that comes in is of a similar, you know, calibre. Because I think Greg Taylor defensively is, you know, he's really good. You very rarely see a guy getting the better of him defensively. I just think going forward, his crossing's actually improved, And I don't know, Jackie will know more than me whether he can ever be a player who'll beat a man like a Kieran Tierney, or if that's something that can be coached. But he is relatively young. I was always impressed with him at Kilmarnock, and I think with a new manager, as I say, someone who can really develop him, someone who tells him what his role is. You've got to remember Taylor's been playing left wing back, he's been playing left back, he's not really known his definite position all season. If we can get a manager in who can develop players like Taylor, I think we could be on to a pretty good left back there.
Now, Ajeti came back into the team, unfortunately suspended now for 2 games, unless the club appeal and win the appeal. We don't know what's going to happen there. But that's kind of a bit of a blow, isn't it? Because Lennon kind of spoke highly about Ajeti after the game. He's kind of given him a big opportunity. He scored the goal, and then immediately again, his progress is halted just straight away. No chance of him playing at the weekend now.
Yeah, disappointing to see, because I think, like the rest of the team and the team this season, it's been about consistency. Ajeti got opportunities at the start of the season, getting praise at the start of the season. And I heard Neil saying after the game about fitness again with him. Being fitness or not working hard. He's not been working hard enough. So, he was into his team at the start of the season, and obviously they chopped and changed formations and changed personnel. Griffiths came in and scored some vital goals for us at certain times, and he seems to have fallen back out of that again. I don't know what's happened there. And Ajeti's got an opportunity there, and he scored. I thought he took his goal well. I thought he looked strong with it. Held his body up there, and like all the strikers, finished it well across the face. That you want him to do, but yeah, it's disappointing. He's going to be left out, but it gives someone else an opportunity.
People forget how good he was when he first came to the club. Did he not score like 5 goals in 5 games? Remember, I think it was the Livy one when he was played through by El Yunusi, I think it was, and he clipped it in with his left foot from about 25 yards, over the goalkeeper. Brilliant finish. He's a guy who, for me, will score goals, but again, he needs a run in the team, and he needs to know what his role is. He's a guy who's crying out to be played, alongside a fellow striker, and I don't think he was amazing on Tuesday night, but it was, a good start for him, and he got the goal. I did a video yesterday in the channel, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I looked at, the players that are going to be left for next season, and I genuinely don't think it's a bad squad. I think we're light in a lot of positions. I think right back, as much as Leo Connor will probably come back to the club, if we lose Kenny, we've not really got a right back. I think left back, you've only really got Taylor. Centre back, we're a bit weak, but in the midfield and even up top, even if we were to lose Edward, we've still got Griffiths and Ajeti and even Klimala there. It's not a bad squad, Jackie, for say a new manager to come in the summer. I don't think things are quite as bleak as maybe some people are making out. Probably me.
No, I don't think it's a bad squad by any means, but I think it's a squad that needs brought on a level in terms of coaching. You spoke about Frimpong. For me, Frimpong was a classic example of development and coaching. And development in his last third day at the pitch, and defensive for the first and foremost. His positioning at times there and covering from his full centre halves. So no, I think it's important that obviously there's a plan in place. With the players that are there, but also the players that they're going to bring. Are they going to be ready made, or is it going to be players that be coached? Because players that are ready made cost a lot of money. You don't always get the finished article either, so it's a gamble either way. But then the manager, the coaching staff have to be able to produce and make sure that make them better.
Yeah, that's the question mark for me, and that's probably my biggest worry with Neil Lennon at the moment, is that he doesn't seem to be getting the best of the players. There was a worrying comment from Callum McGregor at the weekend where he kind of suggested that for whatever reason the instructions of Neil Lennon aren't getting through to the players on the pitch. He kind of made that admission after the St Mirren game, which I thought was quite telling. So it just seems like there's a disconnect between kind of the coaching staff for Lennon and the players. And Lennon himself has admitted that. I mean, he's talked quite candidly about the fact that players have wanted away all season and that nothing's really changed since after the Ferencváros game where he went on that rant at them. And the whole thing's a bit of a worry for me. Do you think that beginning to move Cham and Frimpong on and perhaps others in the summer, Jackie's kind of turning the corner? I mean, we don't want players at Celtic who don't want to be here.
Yeah, I think regardless of the manager or anybody else at the club, you don't want players that don't want to be there. You don't want anybody that doesn't want to be there, because you need everybody pushing for the same goal, is to be successful. And if you've not got that, get players looking elsewhere, and they're only there because they didn't get their move, or they get told they've got to wait another 6 months or another year. I think we've seen that this season in times there. That it doesn't work. It's cashing in the players that don't want to be there at the right moments. And I think that's something that we've done very well over a number of years. It's been difficult to see some of them go, but they've probably went at the right times. This year's been a bit different because, everybody's been pushing towards getting the 10 in a row. It's been an obsession, if you like, because and it's not worked for one reason or another. This season it's fell flat.
I mean, Neil Lennon has also admitted that. He said on the radio the other day that perhaps in another season they would have sold these players during the summer transfer window. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but Hamish, do you think they got it wrong in this instance? I think players should have been sold in the last transfer window, in the summer one.
I'm reluctant to criticise him, because at the time we were all saying we wanted to keep Edward at the club. I don't know, try to think back whether there was much chat about anyone else really. I think maybe Christie was mentioned, but maybe Ayer. No, I think they were fair enough to keep them, but I think the problems arose after that Ferencváros defeat. I think that defeat was so damaging for this season, and I think losing the first derby to Rangers as well was a real moment that we've never recovered from, if we're totally honest. The mentality of the team, the boost it gave them, the fact that Lennon came and slammed his players after the Ferencváros defeat, just never really recovered for that. It's been such a kind of long and drawn out death of 10 in a row, hasn't it? Because it's been all the way since October and we're still feeling it, but kind of hit home a bit recently, last couple of days, that just what a real missed opportunity it is. A chance to make history and win a 10th title. And I think Jackie's right. I mean, to be fair, Rangers have dropped 6 points all season, right? But I would like to have seen Rangers with a bit of pressure on them. That's the only point I'll make. And they've had no pressure. It's akin to Liverpool last season, isn't it? Liverpool had absolutely no pressure on them and they robbed it. Rangers have played no games probably since October with any pressure on them at all, because we've been so far behind. We've been double figures since how long? Double figures for about 3 months. So it's just really disappointing, but we're going to look to the future, guys. We're going to try and lift the morale a bit. One final thing, Jackie, I want to get your thoughts on. Goalkeeping situation. For me, it's a bit of a mess. What's your kind of take on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think, I've seen some kind of putting out the names out of hat and different things over the last number of weeks. But again, I think Neil had changed it for the Rangers game, put Barkas back in the game before that, and said he was his number one goalkeeper, and he's kind of said he's not again.
Yeah, crazy.
And put Bain back in. So clearly, he obviously doesn't have trust. And as a manager, it is all about trust. Who do you trust to handle the situation? And clearly, he doesn't trust us. And that's something that will need to be addressed as well in the summer. We get 3 keepers there, and I don't think you've got an out-and-out number one at the moment. Looking at it either.
Yeah, certainly not for me either. The whole situation's baffling for me. But we could probably spend another half an hour talking about the Hamish, but we won't.
We won't. We'll leave it there, unless you've got anything else to say, Jackie.
No, I think the goalkeeping one. I thought we're not getting Forster last year. I thought it was a mistake letting Gordon go. Especially talking about this year, the experience and being through it all. And it was for me. He did a good spell at Celtic, and I thought it was a bit unlucky losing his place when Forster came back in. But then you had 2 fantastic goalkeepers there. I think to lose the 2 of them last summer was a big blow.
What do you think went on with that Gordon situation, Jackie? Was it a contract thing? Was it a wages thing? I mean, or was it just that Gordon wanted to actually play football?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, I'd be surprised if the wages thing, especially when I'm leaving to go to Hearts. I would be very surprised if Hearts would pay more than what Celtic would have offered them, but stranger things have happened, as we know.
Yeah.
There you go. Craig Gordon, selling him cost us a 10. Is that what you guys are
saying? Careful, don't write the headlines for them, Jackie.
No, that's not at all. It's not just Craig Gordon's issue. There's a lot of issues this season that have cost the title.
Absolutely.
And we've spoke about them on quite a lengthy video here, so we'll leave it for now. Thanks everyone who's watching this video. As always, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, we would appreciate you doing that. I think we're on around 10,250 now, so we're even getting well above the 10k. If you've not yet subscribed, we would appreciate you doing that. We're back later in the week. Take care and hail hail.